Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues, guests in the gallery. Today, I stand before you as a father who cares for his children, a father of a strong young man and a beautiful little daughter with limitless potential. I know that whatever she does, Brooklyn will make me the proudest girl dad in the world. My love for her is what brings me to this well today. As her father, it is my duty to speak up for her and the countless other little girls who will be hurt by this bill. Some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle say that this bill is necessary to ensure the fairness of girls' sports. But I say that all this bill does is unjustly and unnecessarily harms some of our most vulnerable kids. For one moment, I want all of us in this chamber and all of you in the gallery and watching online to think. What does it mean when the official code of the state of Georgia says that the state has the right to discriminate against you based upon your gender identity? Imagine if someone told you that they have the right to discriminate against you simply because of who you are. Is this what we were taught growing up? Because I learned growing up that God calls on us to treat others as equals. Does he not say in Acts that he is Lord of all? Does he not command us to love thy neighbor? I believe God truly favors none, but loves all. He is the God of love, and if you truly feel that way, that he is the ultimate judge, then let him be the judge. It is not our place to do what only God can do. It is our place to do what we can do to make this state a better place for our children, which this bill does not do. Instead, this bill opens the door to a new kind of issue. While we may ban transgender girls from competing in girls' sports, you are also now forcing girls to conform to your definition of femininity, or risk being dragged through the legal nightmare of this bill. Because, from what I read, it allows people to sue if they believe an individual may be a trans girl. To illustrate this, I want to play out a scenario for you. We just all saw in the news that the Atlanta Dream is getting a new star player. Brittany Griner of the NBA is coming here to Atlanta. She is 6'9". If she walked in this chamber right now, she would be taller than every single one of you, including myself. Based on her height, based on the sound of her voice, someone could very well mistakenly misidentify her and other players on her team as being a trans woman. If she played on a college team here in Georgia under SB1, and her team beat another team, and someone believes Brittany had a competitive advantage due to her height, she would be sued, or even though Brittany is a biologically cisgender woman and a darn good basketball player. Mind you, this can happen to any elementary student, middle schooler, high schooler, or collegiate athlete in this state if this bill becomes law. As a girl dad, I don't ever want my daughter or your daughters to go through that. The thought of my daughter being misidentified and her identity questioned all because she beat another girl in a competition infuriates me. I don't ever want anyone to go through that. We are now deputizing parents across this state to challenge other teams or sue districts or other families. This is something we should not want any of our children or other families to go through. My question is, how is this fair? How is it fair to tell all girls that they must conform to what this body believes is female? You can't tell me it is, because it is not fair. It is unfair to tell anyone how to live their lives. So why are we telling trans people how to live theirs? I hear my colleagues on the other side say that we ought to have less government in our lives. So I ask my colleagues this: is this really getting government out of our lives? Or is this putting government where you want it to be? In the bathroom, in the locker room? Because I'll tell you where the government needs to be. It needs to be in our classrooms, ensuring our kids are learning. The #1 state to do business is an amazing title. We say it almost every day. I've heard it since I've been here. But when you're 32nd in the country for educational attainment, you should probably work on that instead of making it your #1 priority to go after the most vulnerable children in our state. Imagine how our trans youth must feel right now. Imagine how they feel as we sit here debating their right to exist instead of addressing the critical learning needs in this state. Imagine how these kids, who make up less than 1% of the population in our state, not just athletes, they make up less than 1% of all children in this state. Imagine how they will feel if we pass this bill. So please consider this. Trans youth are already considered most likely to commit acts of self-harm, which is only going to be made worse by bills like this. There are transgender kids out there who are listening as we signal to them that their existence as human beings is practically illegal in this state. No matter what you believe, can't we all agree that everyone has a right to exist as themselves? We even heard today, nobody wants bullying in this state. If we can agree on that, then I see no reason to pass this bill. I speak often about how I want to do this work to help the children in our state, because I know our children are our greatest responsibility. And I assure you, the minority party did not ask for this fight. We are not playing party and identity politics. We didn't ask for this. At the end of the day, when we leave this building, we must carry with us the question: how will the work I've done today impact the world our children will inherit tomorrow? Because we can discuss and debate this bill and contrasting bills, but at the end of the day, our trans youth will live in a world where their very existence is denied by law. So right now, I want to speak directly to our trans youth and their families. No matter what happens in this chamber today, keep fighting, because you matter. Let your voice be heard and know that you are loved. And most importantly, no matter what anyone tells you, know that you belong in this world. To my colleagues here in this chamber, I want you to remember something. Our trans kids are listening. They're watching. They are listening to this speech, hoping and praying that you will think of them as you push your buttons today. That you will remember that they are our most vulnerable population. That they need your support, not your judgment. That you literally have their lives in your hands. And think about our little girls. Do we really want them to live in a world where they can be accosted by adults because they are misidentified? It has happened. There are documented cases where this has happened. So colleagues, there's so much work to be done over the next 27 days to improve the lives of our fellow Georgians and to move Georgia forward. Please don't start by moving us 2 steps backwards on civil rights. Pastor Bryant this morning said that we should be asking ourselves 3 questions. Is it right? Is it best? And is this truly what I want? As a father, I urge my colleagues to vote no on Senate Bill 1. And as a senator, Mr. President, I yield the will.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 27th, would you like to close debate?